7 News always investigating, uncovering new information about the shooting that's left a portion of this Denver apartment complex covered in crime tape. A Denver County Sheriff's deputy rushed to the hospital after being shot in the hand. The woman who shot him was shot and killed by the deputy's partner.
Non-stop news starting with team coverage. 7 News reporters Amanda Kost and Lance Hernandez, both on the scene moments after the shooting.
And Amanda, you've confirmed the deputies were trying to arrest the woman for felony crimes.
And those warrants were for burglary, assault, and harassment. And 7 News has learned that leading up to this shooting, the deputies went up to the door, knocked on it, and identified themselves. 2 deputies were trying to execute an arrest warrant at this apartment building, but the woman they were after pulled a weapon.
We've had an active shooting. Have shots fired and a sheriff's deputy that's down. 305 Park Avenue West. Code 10 ambulance. I have an officer who's been hit.
One of the deputies was shot in the hand and rushed to Denver Health. The shooter,
Suspect is down.
shot and killed by the wounded deputy's partner, who returned fire. The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene, soon swarming with activity.
At this point in time, it's an active investigation. We're basically processing the scene across the street, as you can tell.
The wounded deputy with non-life-threatening injury expected to be okay, and the investigating officers on edge.
I think it shows you that executing search warrants is always dangerous. In this situation, I mean, you're going to arrest a female suspect who subsequently produces a weapon and shoots one of your deputies. It's a scary situation, unfortunately.
And you can see this is still a very active investigation. At this time, we still do not know the identity of the suspect who was killed or the deputies involved. The 7 News checked, and this incident is being investigated by the Denver Police Department and monitored by the Office of the Independent Monitor and the District Attorney. Reporting live, Amanda Kost, 7 News.
Air Tracker 7 over the Benedict Park Place apartment shortly after the shooting. Neighbors in the area clearly shaken by what they saw and heard this morning. We continue our team coverage with 7 News reporter Lance Hernandez. Lance, neighbors tell you they knew immediately the sounds they heard were gunshots.
And one neighbor who lives directly across the street from this housing complex told me he knows guns. He fires them at shooting ranges, and he said the first shot sounded like a large caliber blast, and he says it was followed closely by several smaller caliber shots.
Code 10 ambulance. I have an officer who's been hit.
Neighbors dropped what they were doing when they heard gunfire at 9:45 this morning.
Firecrackers, pow, 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 pow. That's it. That's all you heard.
This woman says those loud pops gave her the shivers.
Everybody like, where'd it coming from? Where'd it coming from? Didn't know where it was coming from. I was scared to come out to really look and see where it was coming from, because you know bullets don't have no names.
Suspect is down.
It was, pretty frightening.
Jane Howland was on her way to the library when she heard the shots.
So obviously I came back in the house and waited, but it was pretty scary. And then to see 2 kids be taken out, it was just, very heart-wrenching.
I heard about 6 or 7 other shots from like a 9mm. Then some moaning and a child crying.
It was an emotional experience for J. Paul Apodaca, who says he too is a father.
When you hear the babies cry, you hope nothing's going on.
Apodaca says he watched from his front yard as fellow officers walked the stricken deputy to a waiting ambulance.
It was obvious he was hurt pretty bad, and he was surrounded around maybe 10 officers or 15 officers at the time.
Now, none of the neighbors who I talked with say they know the woman who was shot. Her name will be released by the Denver Medical Examiner after next of kin are notified. Live in downtown Denver, Lance Hernandez, 7 News.
And 2 young children were in the apartment at the time of the shooting, and only 7 News was at the hospital today as those kids were taken as a precaution. They were picked up a short time later by a relative. For breaking updates on this developing story, sign up at thedenverchannel.com to have alerts sent to your phone, or you can download our app.